So leveling up your content, building your Facebook community. So this is kind of what to expect from this week. You're going to learn how to build credibility and authority within your niche through your content. Also understand the buyer's journey, the AIDA model, and we'll talk more about what that means, and how to understand how to craft content for your avatar at each stage of the buyer's journey. You can kind of think of the buyer's journey as, and maybe if anyone is married or has a partner that's like this, where you introduce your partner to some kind of idea, and it takes them a little while to warm up to it. And you have to keep introducing in different ways and kind of make them think it's their idea, like plant that seed. It's almost like that. So that's kind of just a funny analogy that maybe is relatable, but you're also going to determine the content pillars for your personal brand. And then we are going to talk about creating a Facebook group probably on our next call, because there's a lot of information and a lot of content. And I don't know that we're going to get a chance to even start with Facebook today. So don't worry too much about that. Also, if you already have a Facebook group, don't worry, because there's still going to be valuable information in there, regardless of if you have a Facebook group or not. Alrighty, so let's dive right in. So a couple of notes about becoming an authority in your niche as a carryover from last week. So you're not expected to have, learned everything that there is to know about your niche, about affiliate marketing, about whatever topic that you're creating content about before you start creating content. Like, that's kind of the whole point. You're documenting that learning process as you go. So you're not expected to be, a PhD level content creator day one, but you are expected to learn and grow. You don't need to, again, have that PhD level knowledge and have all the answers at your disposal on day one, but just know that you can find the answers to questions that your audience has, and then you can add that knowledge to your repository. So it's kind of like you're 2 steps ahead of the folks that you're going to be helping and educating. So if you don't know all the answers, that is fine. That is why there are people at varying stages of this journey that you can kind of network with and get help from. Expertise is built, not innate. I just made a TikTok video last night, and I was feeling really strongly about this for some reason, but I think the inner teacher in me just really wants to convey to you guys that it's like nobody is born knowing ClickFunnels. Nobody is born with this understanding of how to create perfect content or how to speak to your avatar perfectly, or even what an avatar is. So as you're going through the process of learning and building your expertise, it's okay if you don't know anything. No one is born an expert. We become an expert. So I challenge you to reframe any negative self-talk that you have from, oh, I'm just not tech savvy, or I'm just not good at this, to, okay, naturally, this is a skill that I'm learning for the first time. And so it's going to take some repetition and some conscious, deliberate practice for me to master this. And I know that might sound just like semantics and changing words to say basically the same thing. But what it's going to do is going to help you to retrain the way you talk to yourself and the way you think about yourself. So instead of thinking, I'm stupid, I'm not cut out for this, I should just quit, this is hard. Instead of thinking those negative thoughts, which we are very trained to believe from the way that we're brought up and being in school our whole lives, to start thinking about it and start telling yourself, you know what, it's okay. You are learning a brand new skill, and most people won't even try to learn it because it's hard. So you are doing something really brave and really big by even taking a stab at learning this skill set. So I just want you to give yourselves that credit. And there are multiple ways that you can grow and develop your authority besides knowing everything, So I just wanted to give you guys that little pep talk before we kind of jump in. Susan says, I needed to hear that today. I've been struggling with OBS all day. The negative self-talk has been flying. Yeah, OBS is for Mac is a brutal beast, and not in a good way, in a bad way, that beast talk. All right. So I was talking about this last week, and if you're wondering where all the fantastic graphics came from, I drew them on my iPad. So, because I didn't want to, copyright infringe. But this is kind of the cycle for leveling up your content. So it starts with this red circle up here, the customer touch point. So basically that's places that your customer or your potential customer can have access to your content. So that will be you actually creating content on TikTok or whatever platform, you having conversations with your potential customers. That could be in DMs, that could be on Zoom calls. Anytime that you're having any kind of interaction with a potential customer, That's a customer touch point. So they're going to provide feedback, which is that orange circle. And so that's going to be stuff like, hey, this doesn't make sense, or I want more information about this, or I'm struggling with that. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be direct verbal feedback. It could just be feedback in the form of, oh, this TikTok video didn't get a ton of engagement or a ton of views. When I look at my analytics, the watch time wasn't very long. That's also feedback. So like start conceptualizing, if you haven't already, start conceptualizing the views and the engagement that you're getting on your content, on your TikTok videos as just strictly market feedback from your customers or potential customers. And then based on that feedback down at the green circle, you're going to iterate or you're going to change your content. And so that could be the actual messaging that you're using in your content, the actual words that you're using. Or it could be how you edit it or edit your TikTok videos or the visual hook. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But the visual hook that you use at the beginning of the video, maybe using different words or putting it on the screen for a longer period of time. There are so many factors that come into play in terms of how you can iterate your content and do things differently each time to kind of test out the new version of your content and see, again, how your market likes it. So that's what that blue circle is that action based on feedback. So making those changes. And then the circle goes around again. So creating a new customer touch point, basically coming up with a new piece of content, getting on a Zoom call with another potential customer, and the circle goes round and round. And it's just like a game of, you're getting warmer, getting colder. So you're basically wandering around, like kind of with your eyes closed to an extent, and getting that feedback of, oh, you're getting warmer, oh, you're getting colder. And so the more and more that you put out a piece of content and get that warmer or colder feedback, the quicker that you're going to be able to gravitate towards, I can't even remember how you play that warmer, colder game, but I think you end up tagging the person, right? But ultimately, you're trying to get closer to that target content that really resonates with your audience. So becoming an authority in your niche. And I think I mentioned this last week, but like the root word of authority is author. So it's you authoring your own content, you creating your own original stuff. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying by any means you can't do trends or you can't adapt other people's content to suit your needs, but those should be the exception rather than every single piece of content that you put out. So these are some like main ways that you can start to build credibility and authority with your audience. And I really want to stress, like if I go back to that, your customers are going to be giving you that specific feedback and they're going to be asking questions. So when customers or potential customers, people in your audience are asking questions, it's imperative that you find the right answer or determine like as close to as right of an answer as you can possibly provide, so that you are building that trust with your audience, and you're able to teach them and answer their questions. So many people will not make a decision or won't choose a specific like point of action because all their questions haven't been answered and they're still unsure about the mechanics or what that path looks like. So I just wanted to kind of call attention to that. But building authority and credibility looks like any one of these. It could be teaching. Again, we're teaching to our level of expertise. So I'm not going out and teaching, neurosurgery, but I can teach about like what a cell looks like. I've taken biology and I'm pretty proficient at drawing a cell, so I could teach that. And I could still have credibility and authority up until the point of knowledge that I'm at and the experience level that I'm at. And obviously that's going to grow over time. And kind of a best practice is being self-aware about any time that you're running into a problem and then you overcome it. And so it's a pretty cool process. Like entrepreneurship is not just about you creating content, you teaching others. It's actually about you building a bunch of different skill sets and a bunch of knowledge so that you can then turn around and convey that to other people. You can also research and curate. So what that looks like is it's almost like going out and reading a bunch of medical journal articles and synopsizing them so that everybody in my audience doesn't have to go out and read 100 different medical journal articles. They could just get the gist of it from me. So you're doing the legwork for people and then presenting them with that synopsis. And that's saving people the time and energy for having to find it themselves. And we all know, like, people are about that. We don't want to spend time and energy. We want the Reader's Digest condensed version. of whatever it is we're trying to get information about. You can also build authority by entertaining, creating content that has a unique and original point of view that really clearly kind of tells your audience in an entertaining way what your thoughts are about something. Here's an example. And I just came across this.
Hey, Barb, would something, or am I thinking way out left field here, but something that we could teach people is like, maybe, I don't know, how to set up a ClickFunnels or something like that, or is that getting too
Yeah,
narrow?
no, that's a really good question. And we're going to actually go into kind of the types of content that are appropriate at each stage of the buyer's journey in just a second. But yeah,
Makes
that's a really
sense.
good question.
Okay.
It's like where you use trending sounds for your niche. Don't go and look at what everyone else and their mother is doing, but think of what is specific to you and your journey that other people will relate to. So it could be original. It needs to be original, funny, memorable, and interesting. I don't know if Deb is on right now, but if you are a motivator, go out and motivate people. If people need a pep talk or like a little pump me up video, you can be that person if that's something that you feel like strongly about and that's part of who you are. And that can be intrinsic motivation, and that's like internal factors like beliefs or thoughts, and helping people to shift from maybe a negative mindset to a more positive one. And that could also be extrinsic or external motivations like money or awards or recognition, that type of a thing. Next, we're going to talk about the buyer's journey, and I'm really going to try to get through this part quickly. So we're not going to go like super in depth, but basically what I want you to understand is that there are kind of multiple stages, and this looks like a funnel, right? And so you want to think of this as just another funnel in your business. So this is the journey that potential customers take from being a cold lead that maybe doesn't even know that they have a problem yet, to being a red hot lead. So they're going from the top of your funnel where it says attention in green all the way to the red where it says action at the very bottom. And so you're going to have a lot more people at the top, and you're going to get skinnier and skinnier on the way down because less people are going to graduate kind of to each step. But your job as a content creator is to bring your authentic self and your mission statement to each stage of this journey that will give your avatar the type of information that they need to proceed closer to making a decision and taking action. All right. So the first stage is attention. So in the attention stage, your potential customer or prospect is expressing, quote, symptoms of a problem or is seeking an opportunity of some sort. So basically they're like fumbling around trying to put a name to the symptoms that they're having. And so at this stage, it might be someone who just is kind of scrolling on TikTok, feeling a little bit disenchanted. Maybe they just got home from work and they're just in a bad mood because work is obnoxious and really bugging them. But they haven't put it into words yet that they are sick of their job and they want to quit. So right now they just have symptoms, but they don't really know what the name of their disease is, so to speak. So the type of content that you want to create, and you want to think of the attention grabbing content as what's on TikTok, what's on Instagram. So it's very short form. You're really just trying to grab people's attention so that you can move them down to the next stage of your funnel. And so that's the attention grabbing content on TikTok and Instagram platforms like that. You want to create attraction and affinity or liking based content. So basically that is like a short, sweet version of, hey, here's who I am. This is how I help people. This is what I'm about. And you want to provide educational content at a high level to answer questions and concerns. At this stage, you want to talk to your avatar as if they have no clue about you or the transformation that you know that they need. Because again, they're not aware that they haven't put that name to their problem yet. And so you could say, oh yeah, you need to, start an online business. And they're like, why would I do that? I have a job, and sure, it's annoying, but like you're getting too far ahead of them. So at the attention stage, you really want to grab their attention with emotionally evocative content that's going to grab their attention, get them to keep watching. And again, speaking to them as if they have no clue about who you are or how you can help them. So the next stage is the interest stage, and your prospect or potential customer has clearly defined and given a name to their problem or opportunity. So they're seeking where they can find a solution. So in my journey, before I got started with online business, at this stage, I was like, okay, I don't like my job. I want to quit. I need to start making money online. And I started looking around on YouTube at different options, and trying to seek out where I could find a solution. So at this stage, they're committed to researching and understanding all approaches and methods to solving the problem. They're not committed to any one business model. They're not committed to any one provider of that solution. They're just out there doing research and trying to figure out what, quote, feels right. Remember, we make decisions based on what feels right. And then we back into or use like rational reasons to justify that emotional based purchase decision. So at this stage, the type of content you want to create is empowering content. You want to be able to give people the confidence that they need to move further into making a decision. So this can be case studies and testimonials, and we'll talk more about that and down the line. But this is high value content wherein you answer questions and show that you can help whoever the viewer is at this stage to achieve the desired transformation. So that transformation could be, man, I'm so sick of my job. I know I need to do some kind of online business where I can make money online. And this is the kind of content where you would show, hey, I'm my own case study. I started, doing affiliate marketing, and then I was able to quit my job in 6 months. So that's just one example. Really important that the messaging at this stage be, I see you, I hear you, I understand you because I am you. So you want to use like tribal language. And by that, I mean, like, what is the language or what are the words used to describe the problems, pain points, fears, and roadblocks that your avatar uses to describe their problems at this stage? And again, you totally understand their perspective and their point of view because that was you a few months ago or a year ago. Speak to your avatar, speak to your audience in a way that they can understand who you are, what you do, and who you help. All right. So between interest and the next stage that we're going to talk about, which is decision, there's kind of a limbo stage, and that is intent. So in this stage, your prospect or your potential customer is watching you and your content, engaging in your community. So at this point, they could be inside of your Facebook community. They could be watching your lives. They could be seeing what kind of posts that you make in your Facebook group, what you have to offer, and they watch how you deliver it. And I have USP, which is unique selling proposition. Basically, they're looking to see how you are unique, how you differ from everyone else out there that is offering to provide a solution to their problem. Alrighty. So the next stage that they're going to reach is decision. So your prospect is aware of the gap between where they are currently and where they want to be, their desired situation. And they know their options that promise the transformation that is desired. So they've narrowed down options to make a final decision. So what that looks like, they could be in my Facebook group, Lydia's Facebook group, and Susan's, and they've been watching and kind of hanging out and seeing how we kind of roll and what our vibe is and how we operate. And they may be familiar with what we offer from like a coaching or, a support perspective. And now they're trying to make one final decision. So the type of content that you want to create. And at this stage, it's very critical to get the person on a Zoom call. Especially if you're trying to get them to convert to a high ticket offer. You want to get a ton of high value content in front of them. Show them that you know what you're talking about, that you can deliver on that transformation. You want to deliver a clear direction to your prospect so that they are aware of the action that they need to take in order to overcome their current situation. So that's a strong, clear call to action. And a lot of times at this stage, it's like they kind of realize, okay, this is like looking like this is the decision that I'm going to make, but they need a human face to kind of be in front of that offer so that they can connect it to that human being and have that almost reinforcement that what they're doing is the right thing. At this stage, it's also very critical to answer all of the questions that they need answered. So they're going through their last minute checklist of potential objections or, again, that rational decision-making part of our brain. So they feel pretty good about this decision, but they're just checking off all the boxes to make sure that this is actually going to be a good fit, rationally speaking. And this ties into our Facebook group and fostering a community and nurturing the leads within that community. And we're going to talk more about that probably on Friday. So the final stage is action. And this is where the prospect or your potential customer becomes a customer and they want to work with you. You've earned their business and now you must fulfill on the promises and deliver the transformation that you offered. So over delivery of new knowledge, skills, and ideas, massive value. Solidified transformation, meaning if you promise to get them from, the current state, which is a lack of confidence, a lack of understanding, basically starting from scratch to you're going to get them up and running and earn their first commission, then you need to deliver on that transformation. The promised outcome is delivered. This is going to create loyal, happy, repeat customers. And I put gather case studies and testimonials in all red, underlined, all caps with 50 exclamation points, because that is critical. Even if you are just helping someone on a Zoom call, at the end of the Zoom call, if they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, this was so helpful, ask for their permission to record them just saying, thank you, you helped me so much, and describe a little bit about how they helped you. At the end of the Zoom call, just, hey, can I record you? And would you mind doing like a really quick, like 30-second, just little testimonial for me? They are probably going to be so grateful to you that you helped them. They will say, absolutely. Then just hit record on Zoom, or you could just screenshot a DM conversation if this takes place via DM. If they leave a comment in your Facebook group, on your YouTube channel, or even on your TikTok account, screenshot that and keep it in a little folder on your phone or on your computer called testimonials. And this is going to come into play hugely down the road for you. So the attention, interest, decision, and action funnel is in line with these platforms. So again, TikTok and Instagram, those are the big attention grabbing platforms. I just remembered that somebody left a comment on one of my videos on TikTok that said, hey, you should teach people how to do affiliate marketing. I'm like, hey, that's funny because I actually do. And she was like, no, on TikTok. I'm like, TikTok is not the platform to show people how to make a funnel. I'm not going to make 60 1-minute videos on TikTok showing how to make a funnel when you could just go to my YouTube channel or Facebook group and learn in a way that's not going to like kill my soul. Like imagine making 60 1-minute videos teaching how to do affiliate marketing and have a whole master class on TikTok. That would, no. Anyway, so use TikTok and Instagram for what they were built for, grabbing people's attention. Then get them to a place like Facebook where you can have that community aspect where you're able to teach one to many instead of one to one like you do on TikTok and Instagram, but one to many on Facebook or YouTube. And then you can have those meaningful discussions, whether it's in the comments or whether it's among your community members on Facebook or in the DMs. And you can cross promote your Facebook group on your YouTube channel, and you can use your YouTube content for education in your Facebook group as well. And that's how you warm up leads, is grabbing their attention, getting them to a community like Facebook, providing more value, more education, talking to them. And basically it's a constant feedback loop. Hey, I have this video on how to pick a niche. Do you want to take a look? Show that to them. Do you have any questions? I want to make sure you're pointed in the right direction. Yeah, I was still kind of unclear about this. Then you can answer that question for them, take that feedback in and use it to iterate your future content and how you'll interact with people when they ask that same question in the future. Since
a lot of us here do Legendary,
yeah,
and Legendary, I understand about taking over to Facebook and YouTube. I see the value of that, but Legendary does a lot of this for us.
Mm-hmm.
I can see where some people should go directly to Legendary and be sent directly to Legendary. Obviously you won't understand that until you know the person, but as far as the Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff, Legendary takes care of that for us. So, I'm just kind of, I don't know, confused, I guess, as how and when do you take people to where? Yeah. So as you go through, let's assume that somebody goes through the 15-day challenge. Raise your hand if you've gone through the 15-day challenge. Have you had questions after you completed the 15-day challenge while you were going through it? Yeah. So most people would say, yeah, like the 15-day challenge is not going to answer all their questions. They could go to the Legendary Facebook group, sure. But the value that you're adding, as just strictly with the affiliate marketing business model, the value that you're adding is saying, hey, I'm a one-stop shop. Basically, if you exchange value with me, meaning if you enroll in the 15-day challenge with my affiliate link, in exchange, I'm going to give away this free value of here's how to, a little bit more in depth of how to build your funnel. Oh, you need help with your email autoresponder? I got you. Do you need help creating content? I got you. Do you know what I mean? And so that's going to serve a ton of different purposes. Number one, people they're going to gravitate to you. So even if they didn't enroll in the 15-day challenge through you or through your link, they're going to still see that you're giving away free help
can help them to achieve their desired outcome or their desired situation that they want to achieve. And so even if they don't buy, or, even if they're not clicking your links and you're earning affiliate commissions, that's going to go a long way in this establishing you as a credible authority in the space and building your community of raving fans. So people who are coming into the community are like, oh, I don't really know what this Chad guy is about. I saw him on TikTok, and people are like, oh, Chad's the man. He helped me with my funnel. He helped me do this. And it's going to go a long way to kind of engendering that trust and that authority in the space. In addition, so I just want to throw this out there for anyone who might be listening and thinking about this in the future. I'm not saying right now, so don't let the negative self-talk run rampant. But let's say in 6 months, you're like, you know what? I want to come up with my own coaching offer. Like, I got this affiliate marketing thing down, and I think I have more value to offer than, strictly promoting other people's products. I want to promote my own products. In 6 months, you're going to have a community full of people who are like obsessed with you, who vouch for you, who trust you, who love you. And anyone that comes into the community, they're like, Chad's the guy, like no questions asked, hands down. We trust him. We love him. And so now you have this group of people who not only are they going to keep giving you all kinds of like that feedback loop. So market research galore, but now you have this audience of people who know, like, and trust you that are like, I want whatever you have to sell because I just adore you. Do you know what I mean? And if you like hand them off to Legendary, and that's totally fine. Like if you hand them off and you're like, hey, there's a Facebook group, get plugged in there, that's fine. But now it's like allowing Legendary to do your email follow-up for you. You just lose that connection, That
makes a lot of sense. And Lori said it too. I'm branding myself. I'm not, not branding them and not pigeonholing myself into just Legendary. So that makes a lot of sense. So thank you.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Good way to articulate it, Lori. Yeah. And it's always like, just to remember, you're building like your Facebook group, your reputation, your email list. Like these are all things, like your network of people. Those are all long-term assets that are going to contribute to your brand and strengthening your brand over time. And so it's like, it might seem like it's like overkill, right? Like Legendary already does that. Why would I need to do that too? But it's almost like from a customer service standpoint, you're like, I care about my avatar because that was me. Like I'm you. And so that's like that level of connection and trust that you want to establish, Alrighty. So now we're going to talk about content pillars. And my hope for you is that content pillars are going to help you to create content more easily, and not just more easily, but more clearly in line with who you are and what you're about and your mission statement. So you can think of content pillars as a set of themes or topics that you can use to create posts, like almost like buckets for your content, so they're pretty broad and they will encapsulate probably a lot of different things, but it's kind of like one main theme for 3 different areas. So you can start thinking about, okay, what kind of themes or what kind of like broad subject areas do I want to create posts in or create content in? And start by asking yourself the question, what do I want to be known for? So I gave a couple examples down below. So that first example is like my content pillars. So I want to be known for personal brand, affiliate marketing, and mindset. And so you probably have seen me create content about like a bunch of different stuff. Like I've created content that's related to recovery. I've created content relating to my family, but it always ties back to like building your personal brand, or ties back to an aspect of affiliate marketing, or ties back into mindset. Do you know what I mean? Outside of the affiliate marketing realm, this is like another example, maybe somebody who's working in the keto diet space. So maybe one of their content pillars is like recipes. Another one could be exercise, and another one could be mindset. So those are just kind of a couple examples. And this is another piece of art that I did on my iPad. I hope you like it. But this is a way that you can conceptualize what your content pillars can or could be. So your mission statement. So everybody remember your mission statement from last week. So that could be for me something like, I help affiliate marketers scale to 5-figure months by building a personal brand, building a community, and scaling with automation. So that's my mission statement in this example. So think of your mission statement as being like propped up by your content pillars. And I do have some homework for how you can, to help you determine your own content pillars, but I want to explain kind of what this diagram looks like. So your mission statement is down here at the bottom in this gray box, and then your golden message, that's just a pretty term for describing where the overlap happens between your three content pillars that really informs what your mission statement is. So for example, again, going back to my mission statement. So I help affiliate marketers scale to 5 figures by building a personal brand, building a community, and creating automations. And so if my content pillars are personal brand, so that's something I talk about frequently, affiliate marketing, that's something I talk about frequently, and mindset, I talk about that probably most of all. Those are the three kind of, you can kind of think of it as like the core skills that my avatar would need to become competent in order to achieve my mission statement. So let me say that again. You can think of your content pillars as like the core skill sets or the core areas where your avatar would need to become proficient or need to develop skill in those areas in order to achieve your mission statement. So your content pillars are labeled 1, 2, and 3. And then these little 1, 2, and 3. So like we have content pillar in red, this number 2, and that has kind of 3 offshoots from it. So now I want you to think, okay, so what could 3 like sub content pillars be? And let's say that content pillar 2 for me is mindset. I'll just say that for the purpose of illustration. So what are 3 like smaller buckets that fit under the bigger pillar of mindset for me? So that, just as an example, that could be habits and routines. That could be books, network, like networking with others. And so those kind of sub content pillars, or, you know, the little pillars that make up that larger content pillar, those kind of support that red circle.
I don't know if you're the one that said this or somebody else, but it just reminded me of how, I think it was you, so you say like Gary Vee has like 300 videos of like one thing, but that would all be like one content pillar, right? And they all tie into like his main message.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going for a walk with my mom and telling her about this. So that's actually a perfect example, and something I wanted to talk about was Gary Vee. So, and I apologize if I've already said this. Yeah, Gary Vee is fantastic, but it's like, so something that is kind of central to Gary Vee, like when he was running his parents' wine business, is like customer service, right? And so, I heard about a piece of content that he was talking about a story wherein a lady, it was like around the holidays, and some customer had ordered a bunch of wine for her holiday party. Something happened and it ended up getting delayed. And so she wasn't going to get it until after her party. And so she was really upset, and she had reached out to Gary Vee's team, but they didn't tell him until like the day of or something. So what he did was, you know, instead of being like, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it, you know, we'll make it up to you, he drove personally and took the woman's wine to her. I think it was like a 6-hour car ride for him. So he ignored all of the other things that he had to do that day to go deliver the wine to this woman. He could make a video, or he can make content that talks about the importance of customer service and like how much he cares about customer service and how it's like very important to him. Or he could tell that story, and that says 5,000 times more about what's valuable to him, like what his values are as a person, as a business owner, as a content creator, than any level of like trying to convey that through telling, you know, like facts tell, stories sell. Another thing about Gary Vee that I just thought of, so something that's really important to him is he talks about documenting your process, documenting your journey, being your authentic self, and just like creating as much content as possible. And so we get to know things about Gary Vee and get to kind of piece together what his values are and what's important to him and who he is based on all of the content that he puts out. So it's less about him putting out all of this polished, perfect content, and more about us getting like a little glimpse into different aspects of his life over and over and over and over and over again, because he creates so much content. And we get to see we get to kind of reverse engineer what his values are, what his mission statement is. Anyway, I don't know if that
answered your question at all, or if I just went off on a tangent, but
Oh, that was helpful.
okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, absolutely. And it's like, you can make 100 pieces of content talking about affiliate marketing and never have a repeat. And by that, I mean, you could talk about so many different aspects. You can talk about it as a business model. You could talk about high ticket affiliate marketing as a business model. You can talk about like the aspects of it that make it helpful to do part-time, because you don't have to create your own product. You get to promote somebody else's product. Don't have to deal with customer service or shipping or payment processing, that type of a thing. You can talk about all the different companies that you can be an affiliate for. I mean, the list goes on and on. So now this part is pretty juicy, and I think we're going to have enough time to get through the next few slides, and then we'll have to stop. So this part is about leveling up your content. So if you've been struggling with engagement or views, or having kind of like a framework or a starting place for how to create content that really engages with your audience better, Paulette's like, I had to take off my sweatshirt for this. Then I really want you to like hear this part and take this in. So what we're going to be talking about the next couple slides is hook, story, offer. And you guys may have heard this before, like that hook, story, offer formula from Russell Brunson, who is the founder of ClickFunnels and who is just an absolute marketing savage and genius. But these are the components, whether you are crafting an email, or if you are writing a YouTube video script to record that video down the road, or if you are making a TikTok video or a Facebook post, any kind of content. This is the kind of formula or strategy for creating compelling content. So we're going to start with the hook. Again, the hook, whether it's a written hook in an email or a visual hook, meaning text on the screen when you start a TikTok video, that is going to be one sentence or so, maybe two sentences, but the first couple lines, and it's going to grab people's attention, and not just people's attention, but your avatar. So it's going to let your viewer or reader know that you're talking to them, and it states or implies why they should keep watching or reading. So I posted this in one of my groups, but one of the funniest, and this is just something I've seen recently, but one of the funniest hooks that I saw in the recent past was, it was on TikTok, and it was a mom holding like an infant, and the visual hook. So the text that she had written on the screen, so it's like the white text with the red background, it said, "I breastfed my husband." And I was just like instantly like, oh, this is going to be good. Like, so she delivers the punchline, but it's like, that's not even like, the punchline isn't what makes this story so entertaining and so funny. What is so entertaining and funny is like everything leading up to the punchline, because ultimately it begs the question, why on earth would you breastfeed your husband? What? Like, I got to know the story. So that's a little bit off the wall example, but it was such a compelling hook, and that video went super viral. But your hook presumably will not be along those lines, but it will grab people's attention, and it will let your target audience, your avatar, know that you're speaking to them and that you want them to keep watching or reading, and here's why. So you want to speak directly to your avatar. Use the word you or yours wherever possible. Try to stay away from like I, me, my, or even we. Like, you want it to be as I'm talking to one individual, one single person, and that person is you as much as possible. You can have a really compelling number or stat in the context of like a case study or a testimonial. So that's why it's important to start building up your library of case studies and testimonials. You could say, hey, I've helped this many people earn their first commission, or I helped this person and they were really struggling. They went from $0 to making $100 in a week, whatever that number or statistic is. I don't mean say, hey, affiliate marketing is $12 billion industry or something. That's a lot less compelling than making it really personal to how you can help the person viewing your content achieve some kind of transformation. A great hook could also be a thought-provoking question or a bold statement. I think we were talking about this, Jill, but a thought-provoking question is not like, hey, do you like vanilla or chocolate? Like, people might answer that, but they're not going to be like, what? I can't even, of course it's vanilla. Like, people aren't going to get that worked up about it. It needs to be something that is in line with your niche, but it is going to maybe, I don't mean to say you should go out and be deliberately like aggressive or hurtful, but don't be afraid to make a bold statement or ask a compelling, thought-provoking, or emotionally evocative question. Using a really clear analogy that helps to connect your point that your audience will understand. I love analogies. I'm all about them. But you can use something where it's like, okay, running a race. Most people can relate to that, or running a mile. We've probably all had to run a mile at some point in our lives. And so using that as an illustration to compare to, let's say, starting an affiliate marketing journey. You don't want to start off in a sprint. You want to realize that, yeah, you want to get the best time possible, but you don't want to like pass out halfway through and then have to get carted off the track, you know? So use some kind of clear analogy that is relatable to your target audience, whether that be a race or driving a car or something really basic that is going to help drill that point home to them and make them understand it in a way that's not super technical or super jargony. Okay, story time. So if you looked up when I said that, maybe you were done writing, but maybe it's because we're trained to be like, ooh, story time. So you'll see that happen on TikTok a lot where people are like, okay, story time. And it's like, we're trained to be like, oh, this is the tea, like this is going to be juicy. And so use that to your advantage. Like if you have a compelling story that's like entertaining or in some way emotionally like riveting, don't be afraid to use, okay, story time, or just in general storytelling to hook people. And one quick side note on telling a story or telling your story, what I have found to be successful in my experience is doing what I call like a storytelling sandwich. So open the video, like start the video off by stating some truth or some wisdom or fact that you want to impart unto your audience. Then step 2 is tell the story, and that should relate to that piece of wisdom or that fact or that knowledge that you're trying to convey to your audience. So your own personal story. And then step 3 is cover it with the other end, where you recap how that story relates back to your audience. Because even though we are telling stories in our content, we want to always connect that back to our viewer, because ultimately they want to know how this affects them. How does this relate to me? What's in it for me? Why should I care? So always, what the process and the structure that works for me is I start by saying, like I created a video the other day where I said, it's not enough to want to make 6 figures. You need to have a plan for how you're going to spend that money. That was my hook. And then I talked about, this is mine. And I went into some, like a personal story talking about like my sister and her family. And then I concluded it with, so you need to, I basically reiterated that point, and that video didn't go viral, but it got a ton of engagement. And so it really reached the audience of people that I wanted to reach with that message. Does that make sense? So remember, story sandwich. Controversy, that kind of goes hand in hand with the thought-provoking question or bold statement. So controversy should provoke. It might ruffle feathers. It might kind of make people defensive at first. But what you want to do is provoke them, but then back it up. Describe or explain why you're taking that position and educate the people watching to understand that your point of view actually does make some sense. And lastly, visualization. So using words like imagine or envision. But basically you're asking the person watching, imagine your life in 6 months looking like this. And then you kind of describe that to them. But we're very visual creatures. And so asking people to think of their own selves and their own experience, and then picture it in a way that you get to kind of guide as the content creator, whether it's positive or negative. You get to like provide that journey for them using those visualizing words. All right. So the next stage after you have hooked somebody with your compelling hook, you want to move into the story. And so the story, you'll remember this from the AIDA model. I see you, I hear you, I understand you because I am you. Use words that evoke emotion, enthusiasm, excitement. Be direct. Why should your avatar take action? Remember, people take action. We make purchasing decisions. We make decisions in general based on emotion. And then we reverse engineer the rational part of why we made that decision. FOMO is also an effective strategy in telling a story. However, use it with caution. I feel like it needs to be said that when you create a false sense of urgency or a false sense of scarcity where there isn't any, it's a trashy marketing tactic, and I hate it. I also feel like it really compromises our integrity as marketers when we create FOMO, where
it's just a marketing ploy. Don't be that person that, this offer is not going to last long, but it's like the 15-day challenge being $7. It's absolutely going to last long, So it's okay to use scarcity or urgency or, that FOMO strategy, but just use it with caution and only utilize it when it actually is relevant and actually makes sense. Widen the gap. So really juxtapose the current situation, which is where your avatar is sitting now. So that could be filled with problems, pain points, roadblocks, and questions, and bridge it to the desired situation, which is, those roadblocks and those problems and pain points have been alleviated or overcome. And that avatar is closer to the desired situation. And you want to close that gap with proof of concept. And so what that means is talking about how you were able to overcome that problem to get from your from your past situation to the desired outcome. I'm not saying that means you need to say, hey, this is how I made $1 million. That doesn't need to be it at all. It could be, hey, this is how I overcame this really powerful block that I had against creating content because I felt stupid. And now here I am creating content all the time. I go live all the time. And so if the current situation that your audience is struggling with is like putting themselves out there, being vulnerable, creating content, then you can use yourself as like a proof of concept or people that you've helped as that proof of concept. And again, this goes back to what we were just talking about, but making the viewer the hero of the story, even when you're telling your own story. So again, the story sandwich or relating it back to, okay, so what's in it for me, for the person that's watching your content. And the offer, you can think of the offer as, what does the viewer need to do to take the next step? So now they've watched your content, they've watched your whole video, and now they're at the call to action or CTA. So we want our CTA to be strong and clear and direct. Don't beat around the bush. Don't imply that they should, hey, if you need help, maybe you could. No, people don't want to think about, okay, what's the next step? And you may have seen this if you've ever created content and even said, click the link in my bio, join my Facebook group, or join my Facebook group and you point to it. So you don't have to say link in bio and TikTok slaps you. People will still ask, how do I join your Facebook group? Where can I find you on Facebook? So you need to be really clear, abundantly clear, and then hit people over the head with the call to action. And I mean that in a metaphorical way, not like in an aggressive way, but really make it clear what the potential customer needs to do in order to get to the next stage. Because at that point, you are moving them from attention, you're moving them down that funnel, And so here are some like successful components of a strong, clear call to action. Low risk, quote, no strings attached. So that means, hey, come join my Facebook group, learn for free. Take my free course. Come jump on a Zoom call, absolutely free, no strings attached. So people know, okay, like there's like a certain threshold of, I need to take action. So this better be painless, that kind of phenomenon. A sense of urgency. Again, only use that sense of urgency if there is, in fact, like the price is going up in a week. So make sure you take advantage. Click this link to join before the price goes up, or click this link to join before it closes for good, or whatever that sense of urgency is. A guaranteed transformation. So that could be something like, if you work with me, I guarantee you'll make your first commission within 60 days. And if you don't, I'll give you your money back. That would be an example of a guaranteed transformation. And so that, especially when people feel like they're having to invest a sum of their own time or money, it's like people want to know that their payoff is going to be worth it, especially if it's something that's going to take a little while to pay off. Use words that are just strong, clear, and direct, like join, click, or learn. So join my Facebook group, click the link in my bio, learn through my free course. And again, just to reiterate, be clear and concise. You don't want your CTA to be like a whole paragraph. You just want it to be click the link, join my Facebook group, learn for free. using like a visual hook. Do you all know what I mean when I say like a visual hook in your TikTok content? You like literally just not the captions that you can add that will like caption everything you say, but have like added text to the screen. So for example, if I'm making a video about, actually, let me show you. Actually, I will show you after I'm done going through all this stuff. But I thought of a good example. So I wanted to highlight this gal, Kelsey Gentway. And maybe you guys are familiar. I think maybe we were talking about her on an earlier call, or maybe I was having this conversation in my mind. But she is a former marketing manager. So she used to work at her 9 to 5 she was a marketing manager. And well, I'll let her explain it. But she now has her own agency and she creates content on TikTok. And I want to show you her very first video, which currently, or at least when I was putting this together, had 1.9 million views on her very first video. And I think that got her around 90,000 followers. So as we go and watch this, I want you to think about what is her personal brand, like her tone, like the tone of her content, of her and her video. What's her personality? Like, what can you glean about her personal brand from watching this video? Because I think it says a lot about her. What are her values? Like, what do you think her values are? What do you think her mission is? I think you can gain a lot of insight into Kelsey and what she's about based on this first video. And the reason why I want to show it to you is because this kind of pulls everything together: storytelling, the hook, the story component, the offer, and really bringing everything together in terms of her tone and personality, what her values and her mission are. And also her call to action is very unique in this. So let's take a look. And
I recently quit my job as a marketing manager because my boss was stealing all of my ideas and claiming them as her own. One idea I pitched was to make a TikTok and even provided a page worth of content. She originally turned it down, but shortly after I left, they made a TikTok using my content. Since quitting, I started my own marketing consulting agency because I have good ideas. And now I'm taking my own advice and making my own TikTok because women deserve to be empowered and supported in any industry. Now, I'm not one to hold grudges. Yes, I am. But I do enjoy some friendly competition. They're at 3,329 followers. Not that I'm counting. And they've built that over 2 months. So now today I'm posting my first video. And if I somehow got more followers after just one video, I feel like it would just be justice. Like, we are women, hear us roar. Except the unsupported ones. So like, follow, comment, send it to a woman you support unconditionally. Because we're the future. Oh, it's story time.
I love her. What are some, there's so much to unpack in this video. I just love her so much. But like, what are some things that we can infer or deduce? Like, what are some things that we can glean from that video about who she is as a person, what the kind of tone or what her personality is, or what she's trying to have us understand about who she is as a personal brand? Something I really thought was funny, and I'll go first, and feel free to just unmute yourself and, throw out your thoughts. But I like when she says, I don't hold the grudge, but, and I forget exactly what she says, but she's like, oh, but I do, or whatever it was that she said, but saying basically like, I like to take the high road, except I don't, you know what I mean? So we get a sense of like her, like, sense of humor, that she recognizes. It's like a level of self-awareness that she has of, I'm trying to take the high road, but damn, I really want her to get punked, like that former boss of hers. And so we kind of get to see and cheer for the evil in her, because we all want that. We all want to like punk that boss who did us dirty. And so we get to see a lot of her personality, and notice that when she first starts off that video, it's like, okay, story time. And she has that even written on the screen. And I think something that was effective in the way she used text on the screen is she actually wrote it out. I'm not saying that that's going to make you go viral or anything every time, but I do think that it added a little je ne sais quoi to that video when she was like layering justice and things like that. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
So I just want to run through it one more time. It's not super long. So, story time.
Oh, it's story time. I recently quit my job as a marketing manager because my boss was stealing all of my ideas and claiming them as her own.
Okay. So my boss was stealing all of my ideas and doesn't that immediately just make you enraged? Like, haven't we all been like kind of messed over by a boss before who took credit for our hard work? So it's like immediately
relatable. Like that's the hook. The hook is yes, oh, it's story time, but also, so I recently quit my job because I was getting screwed by my manager. And obviously everyone's going to be like getting their popcorn ready, right?
It's a classic good guy, bad guy story.
You what?
It's the classic good guy, bad guy story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I pitched was to make a TikTok and even provided a page worth of content. She originally turned it down, but shortly after I left, they made a TikTok using my content. Since quitting, I started my own marketing consulting agency because I have good ideas. And now I'm taking my own advice and making my own TikTok because women deserve to be empowered and supported.
Oh, that's a good one. So you guys could see part of the values that she has. Women deserve to be empowered and supported no matter the industry. So she's saying, like, I support and empower women no matter the industry. So she's making very clear, like, what her values are, what her kind of value statement is, and what her like personal thoughts are on women supporting women.
Kind of makes me think that her boss was a guy, right?
Well,
All her ideas.
So I thought the boss was a woman, and I'll show you why in a second. You guys can let me know what you think.
Now I'm not one to hold grudges. Yes, but I do enjoy some friendly competition. They're at 3,329 followers. Not that I'm counting. And they've built that over 2 months. So now today I'm posting my first video. And if I somehow got more followers after just one video, I feel like it would just
I feel like it would just be like, this is very,
Now I'm not one to hold grudges.
yes, I have.
Like, we are women, hear us roar.
We are women, hear us roar. So again, very clear that she is talking to women, except for the unsupportive ones. So that makes me think that her boss was a chick. Because
That's what I would have thought too.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
okay, like I'm all about women supporting women, except for the ones that screwed me over. I thought that the implication was that her boss was female, but
I
maybe
feel like that made it more, yeah.
yeah,
Or else she wouldn't say that, I think.
yeah. Except for
So
the
like, follow, comment, send it to a woman you support unconditionally.
so follow, comment, that's fantastic. And notice she's not like, click the link in my bio and set up a consultation or something. I think that would have detracted from her message of like empowerment and community and supporting one another. So she says, like, follow, comment, send this to a woman that you support unconditionally with the heart emoji. Like, again, really driving that point home of we are about women supporting women, not women screwing each other over, women supporting women. And I think that she just reiterated, this is like the third time that she's said something about that. And so I think that she really like hammers that point home. But again, she's calling attention to like how to support people, how to support women in this space. And so again, I think it would have taken away from her message in this video if she would have ended it with, oh yeah, click the link in my bio and buy this thing or set up a call with me or made it commercial somehow, you know?
Because we're the future.
We're the future.
Oh, it's story time.
So I just thought that was a super powerful example. And I just adore her. So
That
And now
video has 1.9 million views.
yeah, and her account has, I think, 240,000 followers, something like that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Even the title of her TikTok, that just the title was great. I don't know if you read it, but it was a great title.
What does it say? Like
Where
her
do I
bio? You
find-
mean?
where- Nah, just back the title that you put, you know, how you put it in the hashtag.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And it said, what did it say? It said, where do I find the women supporting or the women empowerment side of TikTok or something like that?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Where can I find women empowerment talk?